Don't you just hate whenever you stub your toe? Or get one of those pesky paper cuts that sting for hours after the fact? What about when you turn your head too fast and get that weird TV static feeling in your neck? Or, the absolute worst, whenever you accidentally have a 3-foot, 7-inch iron bar shoot through your left cheekbone and exit the top of your skull. Oh, wait, hold on. My producers are telling me something. What's that? Which one shouldn't be on the list? The paper cut one? Oh, the iron bar one. Gotcha. Well, apparently, according to my producers, that last thing is not all that common. But I do know one guy who would agree with me. Meet Phineas Gage. Now, shockingly, being named Phineas is only the second coolest thing about this guy. Gage was a New Hampshire native that was working in neighboring Vermont. He led a blast crew. As the name suggests, he and his men were tasked with blasting things. Specifically, they were blasting holes in large rocks to clear the way for a railroad that would soon be constructed in the area. The method used for blasting the rock went something like this. First, they bore a hole deep into the face of the rock. Then, they would push blasting powder and a fuse down deep into the hole. Next, they would fill up the remainder of the hole with sand and clay and tamp it down with a large iron rod. Lastly, they would light the fuse and set off the blast. Packing the sand and clay into the hole was meant to cause the energy of the blast to be forced inward, hopefully destroying the rock in the process. Sounds easy enough. Well, late in the afternoon of September 13th, 1848, Phineas and his men were busy blasting away. He was in charge of packing the materials into the hole before setting off the explosion. While he was busy tamping, the group of men behind him caught his attention in one way or another. He leaned his head over to address them, accidentally putting his face directly in the path of the blast hole. As soon as he went to speak, he inadvertently sparked the blasting powder with his iron bar. The explosion sent the bar flying out of the hole, up through his left cheekbone, and out through the top of his skull. The bar that traveled through his head was 3 feet 7 inches long. It landed 80 feet away from the blast, point first, sticking straight up into the air, similar to a javelin. Immediately following the explosion, after being thrown onto his back, Phineas suffered from convulsions of his arms and legs, but miraculously was speaking within a few minutes. He was also able to walk with very little assistance and even managed to sit upright for almost a 1-mile ox cart journey back into town to seek medical attention. So, what are you in for? You know how it goes. Just had an iron bar blow through my skull. You? Oh, wow. I've got athlete's foot. Oh, man. I would hate to be you right now. That stuff is the worst. Whenever the doctor arrived, Gage was sitting, waiting for him. Still, somehow conscious, he explained the accident to the doctor. While hesitant to believe the whole story, he did see a gaping hole in Phineas's head, so he invited him inside and began to treat the wounds. Yeah, so I was packing clay, right? Mm-hmm. And I went to say something to the guys behind me, right? Mm-hmm. And then boom, iron rod, right through the old cranium. You got any Tylenol? In the days following the accident, he started to experience worsening symptoms associated with the injury. For weeks, he would fall in and out of consciousness. The doctor didn't believe that he would be able to recover from his gruesome injury and assumed Phineas was on his deathbed. Much to everyone's surprise, Phineas pulled through and was strong enough to return home just 10 weeks after the accident. Accounts differ on just how much the injury affected his personality and behavior in the years following the accident. However, it's generally believed that although his behavior did appear to become much more crude and vulgar immediately following the explosion, he was able to recover and function in a more normal, socially acceptable manner towards the latter years of his life. Phineas went on to live nearly 12 years after the accident. At one point, he even traveled to South America to work as a long-distance stagecoach driver, before his failing health forced him to move back to the States. Upon his arrival back in the U.S., Gage was able to secure a few odd jobs, but soon began having epileptic seizures which made it impossible for him to work. Phineas Gage passed away on May 21st, 1860. Gage is still a fixture in the curriculum of neurology, psychology, and neuroscience. His case helped pioneer research into cerebral localization, which is the idea that different parts of the brain serve different specialized purposes, and the effects that brain injuries can have on the personality and behavior of an individual. Not to mention a fantastic costume idea for your next Halloween party. Who are you supposed to be again? Wow, Susan, is it not obvious? I think I'm just gonna go now. Yeah, that would probably be for the best. But most of all, we remember him because he was shot in the head with a 3-foot pole and lived to talk about it. I really can't emphasize that point enough. That's all for today, guys. If you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up. If you enjoy our content and would like to keep seeing more of it, please hit that red subscribe button below. See you soon, and thanks for watching.